can't rule out lockdown, warns Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray as Maharashtra's COVID cases surge. At this rate, the city will exhaust its infrastructure in 15 days. A mini lockdown in Pune to begin from Saturday for a week. Similar restrictions likely across Maharashtra. India's second COVID wave rate beats the earlier peak. In Chhattisgarh, dead bodies pile up at morgues. The Cabinet Secretary meets with the 11 states that are worst affected. The EC suspends officials and orders repolling in a booth in Assam after an EVM is found in a BJP candidate's car. The BJP candidate claims he was just helping the poll agents whose car broke down. The opposition cites this to allege malpractices by the ruling BJP. Himanta Biswa Sarma suspended from campaigning for 2 days by the EC for allegedly threatening a Congress ally with an NIA case. With elections on the 6th, the 48-hour ban means Sarma, the BJP's Assam poll strategist, can no longer campaign for his party. Days before the Tamil Nadu election, DMK chief's daughter and son-in-law's home is raided. The DMK will not be cowed down, says MK Stalin. The DMK complains to the EC. And the Congress's Rahul Gandhi slams the government for unemployment, says he would focus on job creation rather than growth. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. The top story at this hour: the possibility of a lockdown in Maharashtra can't be ruled out if the surge in coronavirus cases continues. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has warned people have become complacent, and if this continues, we will exhaust our infrastructure in 15 days. A beleaguered Chief Minister said, giving a heads up that the state will announce new restrictions within the next 2 days.
म्हणून आज सुद्धा मी पूर्ण लॉकडाऊनचा इशारा देतो आहे. लॉकडाऊन जाहीर करत नाहीये, पण 1-2 दिवसांमध्ये जर का दृश्य स्वरूपामध्ये ह्या गोष्टी आढळल्या नाहीत आणि दुसरा उपाय जर मी आता पुढच्या 1-2 दिवसांत ज्यांच्याबरोबर बैठका घेतोय त्यांच्याकडनं आला नाही तर मग मात्र आहे ती परिस्थिती अशीच्या अशी स्वीकारा, जे मला नाही जमणार.
Well, the much awaited CM Uddhav Thackeray address to the state happened, and a lot of people were expecting some kind of strict announcement, some kind of announcement over lockdown would be announced by CM Uddhav Thackeray. But instead he came and he addressed the state and in fact let the state know that how the situation in Maharashtra is very grim at this point. In fact, he also said that he hinted at a lockdown, but he said that this is just a warning that I'm giving, and in the next 1 or 2 days I will be announcing and releasing the set of guidelines, stricter guidelines for the state as to how it will go about in the next coming days. And he said that in the next couple of days he will also be speaking to many more people as to finding a solution towards this situation. Mr. Uddhav Thackeray also let the state know that how the situation is grim, and he's also in fact said that it is not just about the health infrastructure. A very important point that he also mentioned was that if this trend continues of coming more cases, about 40,000 plus cases are coming in Maharashtra every day, and if this trend continues in the next coming days as well, in the next 15 to 20 days, the infrastructure will be exhausted. In the next couple of days, Uddhav Thackeray said that there will be stricter guidelines for the state that will be announced, and he will also be speaking to more people, more eminent experts, and trying to find a solution, because he said that lockdown is not what he wants currently, but if there is no other solution that comes out, then a lockdown is inevitable. He gave a warning of a lockdown, but today he did not announce a lockdown but said that strict SOPs will come out in the next couple of days.
Meanwhile, the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has ruled out a lockdown for the capital. The decision was taken following a meeting with top officials over a huge spike in coronavirus cases. 3,594 cases in 24 hours, up from 2,790 yesterday. Instead, Mr. Kejriwal once again pushed for opening up the vaccination drive to all age groups, saying the centre should allow states to vaccinate everyone on a war footing.
अभी जो स्थिति है, सरकार में लॉकडाउन किसी भी तरह का करने का कोई विचार नहीं है। हम स्थिति पे नजर रखे हुए हैं। और दूसरा ये कि अब ये उम्र 45 साल की उम्र वाला क्लॉज हटा के और सारी जनता को एक साथ वैक्सीनेट, युद्ध स्तर के ऊपर वैक्सीनेशन करने का कार्य कर देना चाहिए, ताकि हमें सबको इससे निजात मिल सके, कोरोना से निजात मिल सके। तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि केंद्र सरकार इसको पूरे गौर करेगी और युद्ध स्तर के ऊपर राज्य सरकारों को अपने स्तर पे वैक्सीनेशन करने की इजाजत देगी।
And a complete lockdown has now been called for in Durg from the 6th of April to the 14th as cases rise. Durg, a small town near the centre of India, is the worst affected district in Chhattisgarh, a state that's seeing a massive surge in cases in the second wave of the pandemic, where the local government hospital is seeing bodies piling up at the mortuary with an overburdened administration unable to cope.
A body pile-up at the mortuary of the government hospital in Chhattisgarh's Durg, the epicenter of the state's second COVID wave. Just in the last week, 38 people have died of COVID in the district and over 6,000 have been infected by the coronavirus. The mortuary at this 500-bedded government hospital in Durg has 8 freezers but 27 bodies. Doctors say they are trying to hand them over to relatives soonest, but they simply cannot cope.
10 पेशेंट करीब आते हैं भर्ती होने और हमारा डेथ का आंकड़ा जो है 4 करीब है, 4 से 5। मरकरी में बहुत संख्या में मुझे पता चला है कि डेड बॉडी रखी हुई है, जिसको कितनी भी कार्रवाई कर रही है।
Similar scenes at this crematorium in Durg, with relatives in PPE suits performing last rites of those who have died from the virus. The visuals, a rerun of last year's horror during the first COVID wave, when scenes like these were reported across the country. Worried over the rapidly worsening situation, the Chhattisgarh government has announced a full lockdown in Durg for a week starting next Tuesday. But it's not just Durg that is a worry. Cases across Chhattisgarh have risen 369% in 2 weeks, the second fastest in the country, and things only seem to be getting worse. With Somesh Patel in Durg, Usama Shab for NDTV.
And the Cabinet Secretary held a high-level meeting with Chief Secretaries, the DG of Police and Health Secretaries of all states and union territories to review the recent spike in daily COVID-19 cases. The government has also identified 11 states and union territories as areas of grave concern. These are led by Maharashtra, Punjab, Karnataka, Kerala and Chhattisgarh. And in an effort to saturate the vaccination for priority age groups, the states and union territories have been directed to have a time-bound plan for 100% vaccination of eligible healthcare workers, frontline workers and eligible age groups. And more than 36 lakh vaccinations were administered yesterday. This is the highest number of daily vaccinations till date. The last record was 34.28 lakh vaccinations on the 22nd of March. And NDTV's Vishnu Som also got vaccinated today. He filed this report.
Well, it's important for us to practice what we preach. For the last 1 year plus, we've been talking about vaccination, vaccination, vaccination virtually every day. Now, the numbers thus far have been very encouraging. More than 36 lakh Indians have actually vaccinated. And today, I'm going to walk the talk. I'm going to get my vaccination as well. It's something I've looked forward to for a long time. Thanks, ma'am, very much for taking me through this. I can't tell you how excited I am to actually get this vaccination. We waited. All right, well, there you have it. Time for my jab. And remember, and to remind myself, I need to take the second jab as well. And that's going to come after some time. So it's 28 days, and then after that, between 4 to 8 weeks for this particular vaccine. It's important to stick to that schedule to ensure that you get maximum efficacy. And that's it. Thank you very much. Didn't feel a thing. Well, I've just had my jab right now, and I was told I needed to come to this room and I needed to wait. The director of Mulchand with me, Dr. Handa, thanks very much for speaking to me. You were absolutely clear with me, no question of any moving outside. You have to sit over here for 30 minutes. That's part of the protocol, right?
That's part of the protocol, and we strictly adhere to that. There are no exceptions.
And could you tell our viewers why that's important?
Because it says that if you have allergies to the vaccine, you may have an anaphylactic reaction, and that happens within the 30 minutes period. So that is why you have to be under observation.
And our message to everybody out there, get out there. If you are eligible, 45 years of age and above, you must get your jab. You must help us fight the coronavirus.
And let's go across to other stories. Let's get you the election update. First from Tamil Nadu, the DMK chief M.K. Stalin's son-in-law was raided by income tax officials. Just 4 days before the Tamil Nadu election, searches began around 8 a.m. at 4 places owned by Sabarasian and his associates. The DMK has complained to the Election Commission, calling it an abuse of power by the Income Tax Department, and has warned that the DMK will not cow down.
Income tax raids on DMK chief M.K. Stalin's son-in-law on a day when the Prime Minister was campaigning in South Tamil Nadu. Officers arrived at the Chennai residence of Sabarisan, who is considered a key strategist and advisor of Stalin and is married to his only daughter. There were separate IT raids on former Minister Senthil Balaji, Thiruvannamalai MP Annadurai and a few others. Income tax sources told NDTV it was based on inputs on cash movement.
In 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the DMK Congress alliance swept the polls, winning 38 of the 39 seats. And these searches interestingly take place at a time when the Prime Minister is also campaigning for the AIADMK BJP alliance down south in Madurai.
The DMK has complained to the Election Commission, alleging abuse of the IT department by the ruling NDA.
நான் என் அட்ரஸ் கொடுக்கிறேன், என் வீட்டு அட்ரஸ் கொடுக்கிறேன். 25/9 செனட் ஆஃப் ரோடு, சித்தரஞ்சன் சாலை, சென்னை. தைரியம் என் வீட்டுக்கு வா, வீடு. நீ தைரியமா என் வீட்டுக்கு வா.
This even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was in Madurai and visited the Meenakshi Amman temple, said the DMK and Congress family rule would bring lawlessness and lack of safety for women. Referring to earlier power struggle between Stalin and his Madurai-based brother Aragiri, and also recent controversial comments of DMK leader A. Raja.
The law and order situation will suffer under them. DMK tried to make peace-loving Madurai a mafia den just because of internal family complication in DMK first family.
This is the second campaign visit of the Prime Minister to Tamil Nadu. DMK candidates have been cheekily tweeting to invite Mr. Modi to their constituency, claiming it would increase their victory margin. South Tamil Nadu, where the Prime Minister is campaigning, is critical for the AIADMK combined to emerge victorious. Out of 58 seats here, the AIADMK won 32 in 2016. South Tamil Nadu is a Tevar caste belt. The 10.5% quota promised to the 1 years by the AIADMK government may have a backlash here. OPS belongs to this politically dominant Tevar caste, but the sidelining of Sasikala and the dominance of the Gounders in the last 3 years under EPS may alienate the Tevar vote away from the AIADMK. With Sam Daniel in Chennai, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
And the other big story, the poll panel team's unexplained decision to use a BJP candidate's private vehicle to transport an electronic voting machine or EVM at the end of polling in Assam sparked off violence yesterday, and today it's snowballed into a huge political controversy. After the opposition raised alarms, the Election Commission has ordered a repoll, but the mystery as to how this happened is still unexplained.
A viral video, widespread outrage angry crowds. This SUV on Thursday night near Nilam Bazar in Karimganj district of Barak Valley region of Assam, as to their shock, inside this car, clearly visible, an electronic voting machine. Voting ended yesterday in Barak Valley. More shockingly, this car belongs to Krishnendu Paul, a BJP candidate from Patharkandi. The vehicle is registered in his wife's name, as per his Election Commission affidavit. Inside the car were poll officials with the EVM. Interestingly, the EVM is from another constituency. An embarrassed Election Commission immediately ordered action, repoll and suspension of poll officials in charge of transporting the EVMs. The district administration said the polling team vehicle had broken down and they were just taking a lift with the BJP candidate's car, corroborated by the driver.
Why Election Commission inquiry कर रहे हैं, लेकिन वो गाड़ी आ रहे, वो गाड़ी खराब हो गया करीबन से 10 किलोमीटर आगे. तब हमारा वो गाड़ी को सिग्नल दिया, तब बारिश गिर रहा था, तो ह्यूमैनिटेरियन ग्राउंड वो जो हेल्प करने के लिए तो उन लोगों को यह किया है, तो हमारा भाई और ड्राइवर ने तो बोला ठीक है.
But this has led to a much larger political storm over the Election Commission's credibility regarding EVMs, with Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, the Congress star campaigner in Assam, saying all political parties must review the use of EVMs.
आगे आगे देखिए अब क्या होगा कि जो चुनाव आगे बढ़ता जाएगा, ये एक और इल्जाम लगाएंगे, ये आरोप लगाएंगे कि बीजेपी ने मशीनों में कुछ ऐसा यंत्र फिक्स कर दिया था कि बटन तो दबाया जा रहा था हाथ का, लेकिन वोट जा रहा था कमल को. तो ये सारी बातें, और अब लोग इतने समझदार हो गए और हमारा सारा युवा वोटर, आई डोंट थिंक इससे कोई बहुत अधिक अंतर. जांच अपनी जगह होती रहेगी.
शिकस्त यानी हार को सामने देखकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो करती है वही कर रही है. ईवीएम चोरी से होने वाला कुछ नहीं है.
While the Election Commission had stated that there were 1,300 vehicles at that point of time travelling towards Karimganj, carrying polling personnel on the national highway, however, one big question remained unanswered is that why did this polling team actually hitch a lift from the BJP candidate's car? Was it a mere coincidence or not? With inputs from Arvind Gunashekhar in New Delhi, in Guwahati, Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
And now Assam Minister and senior BJP leader Himanta Biswa Sarma has been given a 48-hour ban on campaigning ahead of the third and the final phase of the assembly elections in the state, which are due on Tuesday. Let's go across to Ratnadeep Chaudhary for this big breaking story coming in from Assam. Ratnadeep, why has the EC issued this order? When does the ban come into effect from, and how much of a setback is it for the BJP star campaigner, given that the polls are on Tuesday?
That's right. In fact, this is going to be a major setback for the BJP, given the fact that there are only 2 days left for the campaign to end for the last and the final phase, the third phase, which is also the last phase of polling in Assam, where 40 seats would go to polls. Remember, Himanta Biswa Sarma is one of the key campaigners for the party, and everywhere where he has campaigned, he has been able to draw a lot of attention, a lot of crowd comes to his campaign. So clearly BJP, in a disarray at this point of time, because tomorrow there was a major road show lined up in Guwahati. Also, last day of campaigning, Mr. Sharma was supposed to campaign in his own constituency, Jalukbari, where he has won for the past 20 years. So clearly now the BJP campaign would rest on Chief Minister Sarvanand Sonowal, who is also campaigning, as well as Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be coming one last time to Assam tomorrow. So, but the party's main campaign depends upon Mr. Sharma. He has been barred by the EC after the Congress and BPF, the Borderlands People's Front, both went to the EC with a complaint about a statement made by Mr. Sharma in a poll rally where he basically threatened, he allegedly threatened the chief of Borderlands People's Front, Hagrama Mohilari, of putting him behind the bars by probing cases against him through central agency. So this complaint was lodged with the Election Commission. The Election Commission had given him time to answer to their queries. A show cause notice was issued, and he had replied to that show cause notice, and now the Commission has come up with this 48-hour ban on not only public meetings, but he's also banned from even giving television interviews and sound bites. So and also posting regarding elections on his social media.
All right, Ratnadeep Chaudhary reporting on the EC taking action against the BJP star campaigner Hemanta Biswa Sarma. And now the former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, in conversation with former United States diplomat Nicholas Burns, has slammed the government for unemployment, saying that he would focus on job creation rather than growth.
What would you prioritize in terms of policy proposals when you become Prime Minister?
I would move from just a growth-centric idea to a job-centric idea. I would say we need growth, but we're going to do everything to push production and job creation and value addition.
And that is the news at this hour. Stay tuned to NDTV for more updates. Bye-bye.